Hey guys, it's Callie and welcome back to my channel, and today we're talking about sexy beasts.
Oh.
So if you somehow haven't heard, Netflix recently released their new dating show, Sexy Beasts, and man is it something.
The scale from 0 to ow! I feel like I'm ow!
I remember when the trailer came out a few weeks ago, everybody lost their minds over it, saying that it was disturbing and not fun to look at, and how dare they make a mockery of love. That's what The Bachelor is for.
It's a sloth.
But anyways, I checked out the show for the memes, and wow, is it awful. However, it's not bad for the reasons that you expect it to be. In fact, I would argue that them being in prosthetics and costumes is one of the least terrible things about this show. Before we get into it really quickly, if you're new to my channel or if you're a new subscriber, welcome. I make videos about anime and animated shows and really just whatever is on my mind this week, which right now is Sexy Beasts. But if any of that sounds interesting to you, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe if you want to see more. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it.
This is Sexy Beasts.
So the show starts off just like every other Netflix show, with some B-roll of the contestants in front of neon lights and a narrator who always has some snarky comment.
Soft on the inside with a hard shell. Huh. Luckily, this is the one show where Emma might actually meet the tortoise of her dreams.
We then meet our first unlucky bachelorette, Emma, who is a model who was tired of being judged by the way she looks, so she went on a show to get judged for how she looks as a devil. Next, we're introduced to the three worst bachelors Netflix could find. First up, we have Bennett, the mandrill who describes himself as a boob guy.
I am weak for big boobs. I'm a boobs guy.
We then have Archie, the stone man, who's the opposite of Bennett because he likes...
LL Cool J, big old butt.
And finally, we have Adam the mouse from London.
Looks first, personality second. That's why I'm sat here single, dressed as a mouse, I suppose.
Alright, so we're less than 3 minutes into the show and I already have a lot of issues with it. First of all, who came up with these character designs? Because I have a lot of questions. For example, you have this one guy who's dressed as a literal monkey, and the next one is this man who's chiseled out of stone. Seems a little unfair if you ask me. Also, for a show whose kind of whole thing is the contestants being in costumes and prosthetics, they do a terrible job at it. Like, Archie's hands aren't fully painted, and they have a close-up of his hands not being fully painted. Like, you could have just cut that out, or just not painted his hands, and it would have been fine. Also, what type of makeup are they using? Because I'm genuinely concerned for how pink Adam's eyes are. Like, did Netflix just use the cheapest makeup they could find? Because all of their eyes are so red and irritated. Like, somebody please give them some eye drops. Also, speaking of Adam, who decided it was a good idea to give the mouse hair? Like, who decided to give this mouse this weird receding hairline? Like, it's just... ugh, it's so bad. Also, I want to note that the format of the show was a little bit different than what I expected. I thought the show was going to be more reminiscent of Love is Blind or Too Hot to Handle, where we follow the contestants for 12 or so episodes and really get invested into their journey. But this show kind of feels a little bit more like an old MTV show like Next or Parental Control, where each episode there's a new lead and a new cast, which isn't necessarily a bad format, but it does kind of make the show feel like something that I would put on in the background rather than sit down and fully watch it, because each episode is somebody new. But mini rant over. Back to this episode. Emma goes on her first dates with the men, and they put her in a skin-tight shirt so Bennett can see if she's his type.
I'm a boobs guy.
Also, I know I just said mini rant over, but where are they filming this? Because when the contestants show up, the people in the background look shocked and are kind of, looking onward. But at the same time, Netflix has obviously cleared this one area of the bar and has set up all these cameras, so these people do know that something is happening. Like, did Netflix just tell the background people to act shocked and pretend like they didn't know that this was going on? Like, I just have so many questions about the production of this show. Okay, rant actually over, and let's get back to the dates because boy are they awful. Bennett mentions that it's going to take someone special for him not to cheat.
I think that it takes someone special because, it's tempting. There's a lot of temptations everywhere.
I don't remember Archie's date because he's so boring, and Adam finishes off strong by mansplaining the word banter to Emma.
Adam is trying to explain what banter meant.
You making me laugh, for example, me making, like, bouncing off each other, laughing.
Okay,
And that's
yeah.
what banter is.
I don't think we had it though.
So with the first date's done, it's time for Emma to eliminate one of the men. So to do this, they go into this big mansion that for some reason has this giant portrait of Devil Emma on the wall. I swear the show is just a bad fever dream. But after some deliberation, Emma decides to send Adam home, and he doesn't take it very well.
Your loss.
But since Adam's time is up, it also means it's time to see what's under all that makeup. And wow, he looks exactly like you'd expect him to. Now that I'm looking at him, he does kind of look like a cross between Harry from Too Hot to Handle and Luke P from Hannah B season of The Bachelorette. Both are men that I am not the biggest fan of, so you know what? Checks out. So with the first elimination done, it's now time for Emma to go on the second date with her final two. First up is Archie, who has one of the weirdest dates that I've ever seen.
I'm just glad you haven't got ogre feet.
The two then go to a spa for some pampering and pedicures, and there's a lot of foot footage. Like a lot.
This one's for you, feet freaks.
I remember when I was watching this for the first time, I was very confused if this was intentional or not. Like, does somebody from production just have a really weird foot fetish?
This might be grossing you out, but there are a bunch of foot fetishists out there who are losing their minds right now.
Ah, someone does.
Oh, yeah.
But after that weird sequence, we then get to know a little bit more about Archie, like how he loves to travel because he loves culture.
I love culture, man.
Whatever that means. We then have another weird sequence where Archie shares how he can accurately guess somebody's age, and Emma asks him to guess hers.
Tell me what you think my age is.
Here we go.
$21?
Yeah.
Who edited that? But other than that, there's really nothing to note, so let's move on to Emma and Bennett's date, which is starting off strong.
Are you a screamer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Are you? You make like noise?
Well, obviously I make noise.
This poor woman. This woman is literally trapped on this ride with this man who's asking some weird, overly suggestive questions. Like, who asks somebody if they're a screamer about roller coasters or rides? Like, I've never heard somebody use that term that way. You know what? Maybe I'm being a little too judgmental. You know, maybe it was just a one-time thing.
What's like the craziest place you've ever had sex?
Can somebody please start the ride already? This poor woman. But I guess Emma's kind of into it because then these two share one of the most awkward kisses I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, did they even touch each other's mouths? I really can't tell.
Little mouth of beard.
With the dates over, it's now time for Emma to make her final pick, and unsurprisingly, she chooses Bennett.
Bennett. You're my sexy beast. Bring it in.
There's then this hilarious moment where Emma and Bennett are hugging for a little bit too long, and Archie just has to sit there awkwardly and play it cool. Like, production just won't let him leave.
Archie?
Come on, Archie doesn't deserve that. But since Emma's made her final pick, we then get to see what she looks like under all that makeup. And surprise, surprise, she's hot. Like, of course she's gonna be beautiful. She's a model in New York. Like, what do you expect? We then get to see what Archie looks like, and spoiler alert, he's also hot. And then it's time for Emma to finally see what's under Bennett's makeup. They then set up this weird dramatic scene like they're finally going to see each other after all of this time, as if they didn't just meet a few hours ago. Like, this isn't Love is Blind, guys. You're not getting married. Let's just take it down a notch. And after setting eyes on Bennett and his luxuriously long hair, the two then share an uncomfortable kiss.
As soon as I saw her,
Ugh, why did he do that? I know some monkeys rip people's faces off or whatever, but like, the makeup's off, Bennett. You don't gotta keep up the act anymore. But after some more heavy petting that probably didn't need to take place on camera, the two ride off into the sunset to live happily ever after.
fairy tale ending.
Oh, sorry, what was that? Oh, the two broke up immediately? Shocker. According to Emma, things quickly went downhill from the moment that Bennett bit her lip, which I find hilarious. Supposedly there were some issues about Bennett not being who he said he was and being, quote, shady. And quite frankly, I can't believe it. I've never heard of a person going on a reality dating show for the wrong reasons.
There's been stuff that's been in the air. Some other people might not be here for the right reasons.
Can't believe it. But yeah, that was the first episode of Sexy Beasts, and honestly, I don't think I will watch the rest of the series. I don't know, the editing and the pacing were really weird, and the fact that every episode has a new person doesn't really give me any motivation to continue watching it, because I kind of feel like every episode will be exactly the same. Also, the show was just a little disappointing. Netflix has had some pretty solid reality shows these past few years, but this one just felt lazy. It seemed like they didn't want to put any actual effort into making the show good, and instead relied on the shock value of the contestants being in costume to sell the show. But again, the costuming and prosthetics wasn't even that good, so what the heck, Netflix? Do better, this is just lazy writing. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and let me know what you guys think. Have you guys watched more of the show and do you have thoughts on it? Did this video basically convince you never to watch the show because it's awful? Let me know down in the comments below. I also had a lot of fun making this video, and I kind of want to continue exploring with different video formats or editing styles, so if you guys have some thoughts on the video, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. If you want some more content, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe so you don't miss my next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me for all your support, and I'll see you guys in the next video where I mispronounce yet another word. Bye! that foot footage really reminds me of that weird scene in Cats where like Jason Derulo grabs the main girl's foot. You know, and I'm not one to kink shame, but they're really out here being horny on Maine.